Hello friends, in this tutorial, you will learn how to insert form data into MySQL Table by using Node.js. So in this part, we will give you step-by-step guide for inserting form data into MySQL Database. So please watch complete tutorial with full concentration. In previous part, we have already shown you how to fetch data from MySQL Table and display on the web page in HTML table format. Now for insert data from the form into MySQL database using Node.js. So we have go to text editor, and here we have go to views folder. And from this folder, we have to open sample data.js template file. Here, we want to create add button, so here, we have to write anchor tag with href is equal to /sample data/add. And after this, we have to write class attribute is equal to button success, button small and front end class. And in anchor text, we have to write add, so it will create add link for go to add data form. Now we have go to roots directory, and here we have to open sample data.js. Under this file, we have to create root for load add form in the browser. So for create root, here we have to write router variable.get function with two parameter. So in first parameter, we have to define root. Here, we have to write add, and in second parameter, we have to write callback function with three parameter like request, response and next variable. So, when we have hit base URL /sample data/add in the browser, then it will execute root code, and here we want to load add form in the browser. So for this, here we have to write response variable.render function with two parameter. So here in first parameter, we have to define views file name. So here, we have to write sample data, and in second parameter, we have to define which data we want sent to template file. So here, we have to define data in the JSON format. So here, we have sent title data, with value like, insert data into MySQL. And after this, we have to define, action variable, with value add. So this data, we have sent to, views template file. So here in sample data views file, we have already write, if condition for load add form content. So here, first we have to paste, bootstrap 5 card element code. And after this, here we have to create one form for add data. So for this, here we have to write open and close form tag. After this, we have to write method attribute is equal to post. And action attribute is equal to /sample data/add sample data. So when form has been submitted, then it will send form data to this root. Under this form, forget first name data, so here, we have to write input type is equal to text, name is equal to first name, and it is equal to first name. After this, forget last name details, so here, we have to write input type is equal to text, name is equal to last name, and it is equal to last name. Next, for submit age details, so here, we have to write input type is equal to number, name is equal to age, and it is equal to age. And lastly, under this form, forget gender data. So for this, here we have to create one select box. So for this, here we have to write select tag with name is equal to gender. And under this select box, we have create two options like male and female. Now for submit form data, here we have to create one submit button, so for this. Here we have to write input type is equal to submit, name is equal to submit button. Class is equal to button and button primary class, and in value attribute, we have to write add. So it will create submit button for submit form data. So here our form is ready. Now we have to check this form in the browser. So for this, we have go to command prompt, and go into our Node application directory. After this, we have to run this command, so it will start Node.js server. Now in the browser, we have to write localhost with 3000 port number, /sample data. So here on the web page, we can see that sample data table has been displayed on the web page in HTML table. And here, we can see one add button, so we have to click on this button. So after click on the button, here we can see that add form has been loaded in the browser. Now we have to proceed for insert this form data into MySQL table using Node.js. So we have go to sample data.js file, and here we have to create root for handle post data request. So for this, here we have to write root variable.post function with two parameters, so this function will handle form post data request. So under this function, in first parameter, we have to write /add sample data root, and in the second parameter, we have to write callback function with three parameters like request, response and next variable. Under this function, first we want to store form data in the local variable. So for this, here we have to write first name variable is equal to request.body.firstname. So here we have to store form first name field data into local variable. After this, for store last name field data, here we have to write last name variable is equal to request.body.lastname. Next, for store age form data into local variable, so for this, here we have to write age variable is equal to request.body.age. And lastly, for store gender form field data into local variable. So for this, here we have to write gender variable is equal to request.body.gender, so this way, we have store form data into local variable. Now we want to write insert data query, so for this, here we have to write query variable is equal to insert into sample data table with table column like first name, last name, age and gender, with values get from $expression first name variable, $expression last name variable, $expression age variable, and $sign with expression with gender variable. So this way, we can define variable in the query under Node.js. Now we want to execute above insert query, so for this, here we have to write database.query function, so this function has been used for execute MySQL query. Under this function, in first parameter, we have to write MySQL insert query. So for this, here we have to write query variable in which we have to store MySQL insert query. And in second parameter, we have to write callback function. And this function has been returned to data, like error variable, and data variable. Under this function, we have to write if statement. And under condition, we have to write error variable, so this condition will check. If there is any database error occur, then it will execute if block of code. And under this block, we have to write throw error variable. So it will display MySQL database error on the web page, but suppose there is no any database error occur, then it will execute else block of code. So suppose this else block of code execute, that means data successfully insert into MySQL table. So after inserting data into MySQL table, now we want to redirect web page to display all sample data. So for this, here we have to write response variable.redirect function. Here this function will redirect URL to another web page. So under this function, we have to write /sample data root, so on this page. It will display all sample data table with last inserted data. So here our code is ready. Now we have go to browser for check output in the browser. Now here in the browser, first we have to refresh this page. And after this, we have to write Peter in first name field. Parker in last name field, next in the age field, we have to enter 28. And from gender select box, we have to select male, so this way, we have fill all form field. Now we have to click on the add button, so after click on the add button. Here we can see that web page has been redirected to root method of sample data roots file. And here, we can see that last inserted data has been displayed in the HTML table format. So this way, we can insert form data into MySQL table using Node.js. So in this part, we have step-by-step show you how to insert data into MySQL table under Node.js, so follow step-by-step tutorial to learn how to insert data into MySQL table. In next part, we will fetch single data from MySQL table and load into form. For edit or update MySQL data in Node.js, so we will meet in the next part. Lastly, thank you for watching this tutorial, and do not forget to subscribe our channel.